What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the online jam league? JamiroFan 2000 here with yet another episode of JamiroFan Talks About. For the uninitiated in this series here on my YouTube channel, this has been my periodic discussion series taking a look at the past, present, and future of Jamiroquai. They're now over 31 years of musical making and influence. And this is a bit of an auspicious occasion because today, October 18th of 2024, is a big day because it is the 30th anniversary of the return of the Space Cowboy, Jamiroquai's magnum opus from 1994. And I thought I'd record an episode of JamiroFan Talks About to discuss the importance of that album, and not to mention the announcement on my second Jamiditorial, which will be coming out to coincide with this anniversary, dealing with my thoughts on Return of the Space Cowboy. Now, a lot of members of the Jamily have known in the past, who have been watching my videos here for the last 9 years, knows I'm a big fan of Jamiroquai's magnus opus album from 1994, The Return of the Space Cowboy. And it is definitely the fodder of my second consecutive Jamiditorial I've written for my 12th consecutive project about Jamiroquai, with my thoughts on how important this album really is to the Jamiroquai albumography. Now, a lot of young fans don't know about the importance of these early Jamiroquai albums, especially the first three. And of course, I'm talking about 1993's Mercy on Planet Earth, 1994's Return of the Space Cowboy, and of course 1996's major pay dirt into the world mainstream album Traveling Without Moving. Now, in the case of Return of the Space Cowboy, this was an amazing album that really showed JK and all the band members of that time doing a lot of self-exploration of the human race, and of course an exploration of where humanity is in the eternal race between man versus man. Now, I'm not going to try to give a big coverage of what my complete thoughts on that. I'll leave that for my Jamiditorial so you can read that in your own time, which just so happens to be releasing today on October 18th, 2024. It's a multi-page, me going really deep diving into that album about why I believe it is the most important and the most important album in the entire albumography for Jamiroquai, in its nearly 31-year history, because this album showed a lot of expansion by Jamiroquai. Kind of the lyrical peak for Jamiroquai, instrumentally, definitely the beginning of the end of Jamiroquai, just going rambunctiously forward in a bit of an acid jazz root sound, because once Traveling on Moving came along, Jamiroquai kind of, settled into being the biggest purveyors of disco and dance music, because that album, Traveling on Moving, may have shown a wide variety of musical genres on display, a little more separated, so you actually saw the reggae and the R&B and the soul, as the first two albums didn't really do, because the first two albums, Mercy on Planet Earth, The Return of the Space Cowboy, were very hardcore acid jazz, very much what Galliano did on their first two albums. And Return of the Space Cowboy still holds a major place in my heart, and I still consider it their best album. Now, if you approach Jamiroquai albums just purely for either ambiance or music in the background, then you're not going to really be able to peel back the layers on this amazing moon-dusted onion, which so has to be the title of my second Jamitorial dealing with this album. I kind of approach Jamiroquai albums on a deepness, kind of like a multi-layeredness, at least in part of, and it's a 50-50 part of the instrumentation and the lyrics. Now, after Traveling on Moving, Jamiroquai kind of fixated a lot on the theme of love, and love is all over Traveling on Moving, all the way up to Automaton, which did see Jamiroquai kind of return to a bit of a Futura funk aesthetic with the sound and the look and certainly the headgear. But Return of the Space Cowboy really focused on humanity. And that was the last time that Jamiroquai really did focus on world issues and human issues. And, I mean, you look at the subject matter. I mean, Jamiroquai, to me, is one of the most daring bands to come out at a time when protest and activism was kind of regimented by other bands of their time into social issues, mostly about urban decay and police brutality and lots of race issues. But Jamiroquai went headlong in their first album into planetary issues of human abuse of planet Earth and environmental activism, which a lot of their contemporaries would only jump into later on into the mid to late 90s. But Jamiroquai were one of the first artists to go straight headlong into that as that rabble of doe-eyed young world music appreciating acid jazz rebels as they were. That, I mean, I can't think of any other artist to have an amazing multi-genreist melange of music, but to go headlong into planetary issues. I mean, I still bewilders me to this day that Sony Music signed Jamiroquai to an 8-album deal based off the strength of When You're Gonna Learn. It's just amazing. But like I said, I just released my very, very deep dived Jamiditorial about Return of the Space Cowboy, and that just so happened to be released today. You can check it out on my Instagram, and I believe I made a mirror of it in a series of pictures on my Imgur. So if you'd like to read that Jamiditorial for yourself, it's my second consecutive Jamiditorial. I do plan on releasing at least a dozen of them sporadically over the holiday season of 2024 into 2025. So be sure to keep your eyes on the twin subreddits of the online Jamily, R Jamiroquai and R the Jamily, and my social media for further announcements of the next several Jamiditorials that I'm going to be writing, composing, and releasing to the Jamily to read in their own time. But based off the reaction of the first one about Toby Smith, I've been pleasantly surprised by everybody really enjoying that, and I've actually gotten some messages from some people within Jamiroquai who really did appreciate that, and all I can say is thank you. Many people know me on YouTube for being one of the most passionate Jamiroquai members of the online Jamily, so I take the extra time in writing these and try to articulate all the emotions towards topics or anything within Jamiroquai that I can. But like I said, check out that Jamiditorial. The links to it will be in the description area of this episode of JamiroFan Talks About down below, so be sure to check that out in your own time. And feel free in the YouTube comments to share your thoughts on that Jamiditorial once you get a chance to read it. But like I said, happy 30th anniversary to the Return of the Space Cowboy. If any members of the Jamily are able to get the vinyls, be sure to go to social media and use the hashtag the Return of the Space Cowboy so I can see all the pictures of all the proud members of the Jamily who are able to buy up the new 30th anniversary moon dusted double LP 180 gram of the Return of the Space Cowboy. That will be releasing in the UK, Europe, and other surrounding territories on October 18th, and of course on import in the United States on October 25th of 2024 next week. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000. Thank you everybody for the support throughout 2024, and I will be trying to endeavor to bring you all the latest news as it become available as we continue the march into the holiday season of 2024 into 2025, into a very exciting time period of more news about the 9th Jamiroquai album, which is still developing. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000. I'll see you really soon with more Jamiroquai related videos here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel. Bye bye everybody. Thank you again for the support, and I'll see you around.